Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel.
So this case has been occupying my time, my mind way too much. I'm spiraling. Let me start at the beginning. It's a story about a woman named Lori and a man named Chad, who are both married to other people. They have an affair with each other, start a cult, and everybody around them starts dying. Lori's children are missing and some fear that they're dead. It's so complicated and there's so many crazy things going on and so many dead people. I'm just gonna start at the beginning. The whole story starts when Lori becomes obsessed with Chad's books. Chad is part of this, some people call it a cult. It's a faction of the LDS called Preparing a People. It's a doomsday prepper, sect, cult, whatever you want to call it. They believe that July 2020 is going to be doomsday and the second coming of Christ, and that it's their job to prepare for this. Lori thinks she's a god, but we'll get into that later. Lori starts emailing Chad. Now keep in mind, Lori is married to Charles and Chad is married to Tammy. I'll insert pictures. Lori and Charles, Chad and Tammy. Lori and Chad start emailing. It escalates to where Lori and Chad are on the podcast for Preparing a People together. December 5th, 2018 is when Lori and Chad record the podcast together. Keep in mind, they're both still married to other people who are going to end up dead. And they're not the only ones. In January 2019, so a month after they filmed the podcast, they exchange emails with the subject called 7 Missions to Accomplish Together. Among those things is building white camps or finding areas in Arizona, where Lori lived at the time, to build white camps. Now, keep that in mind because that pertains to a theory about where the kids are. On January 29th, Lori calls Charles, her then husband. She calls him to tell him that she's a god and she has a mission for the second coming of Christ, and if he gets in her way, she's going to kill him. The next day, she calls him again. And in this second call, the next day she tells him she's definitely going to kill him. And in fact, she's going to kill him when he gets back. She also told him that she had an angel who's going to help her with disposing of his body. Very normal. A month later, it's now February. Between February and March 2019, Lori goes missing for 58 days. Charles, her husband, who she just called and threatened to kill, has no idea where she is, and she leaves her 2 minor children with Charles and vanishes without a trace, no contact, nothing. She then reappears, and it is during this time where Charles filed for divorce. Fast forward to June 2019. We introduce a new character into the story, and that is Melani Boudreaux, who is Lori's niece. Melani Boudreaux also joins this Preparing a People religion. She actually divorces her husband of 11 years abruptly, and she marries this other guy who's also involved in the religion, and he also has released a statement, or the statement has leaked, of what he told police, and it is bonkers. A month later, it is now July. Lori's in Arizona. Charles Vallow comes to Arizona to pick up JJ, one of her missing kids, and he ends up getting shot. By who? Lori's brother. New character. His name is Alex Cox. Alex Cox, also dead. He claims self-defense. There's some police body cam footage, which I'll insert right now.
On July 11th, 2019, Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, called 911 to report he had just killed Charles Vallow, JJ's father and Lori's estranged husband.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law and I shot him in self-defense. He came at me with a bat.
Lori, JJ, and Tylee were all home at the time. As police questioned Lori, she didn't appear rattled or upset, even laughing at one point.
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know us.
Gotcha.
Like, hi neighbor, sorry.
as well as a 911 call where Alex is reporting that he shot Charles. I'll insert it right here.
And what is the emergency?
I shot my brother-in-law.
Okay, what part of his body is injured?
In the chest.
I'm sorry, where?
In the chest.
Okay, is he awake and responsive or unconscious?
Unconscious.
Okay, is he breathing?
I can't tell.
Okay, are you willing to go over to him and check?
Sure.
Okay, do you just let me know if you see his chest going up and down? How old is he?
It's not moving. He's 60.
Okay, and are you wanting to start CPR?
No, I don't know how to do that.
They're very calm. She's smiling and laughing like your estranged husband just died, got shot by your brother. Very weird. JJ and Tylee are Lori's kids who are now missing. JJ has autism and he required a service dog. Well, a month after Charles gets shot by Lori's brother, Lori returns the service dog from the place she got it from, saying that JJ doesn't need it anymore. Weird. Lori was living in Arizona when this happened. Well, Chad was living in Idaho. After the shooting in the house in Arizona, what do you think Lori did? She moved to Idaho, to the same town that Chad is in. Her husband is dead. Her brother did it. She moves to Idaho. You know who else moves to Idaho? Into the same exact apartment complex that Lori's in? Her brother and her niece, who are both members of this cult. The month after she's moved to Idaho, September, the next month, is the last time either of her children are seen. And Tylee is her 17-year-old daughter. The last time she was seen is in these pictures. Here are the pictures. They took a trip to Yellowstone. They took these pictures. Tylee was never seen again. A few weeks after Tylee's last seen is the last time anyone sees JJ, the 7-year-old with autism whose service dog she just returned to the kennel a month ago. October 1st, Lori rents a storage unit. And we're going to talk about the storage unit and all the crazy stuff that happens in the storage unit. On October 2nd, a day after the storage unit was open, Brandon Boudreaux, who's Lori's niece's ex-husband, he is the victim of a drive-by shooting. He survives. Are we keeping up? He believes that his ex-wife, Lori's niece, Melani, is behind this. He believes there's an insurance policy on him and that she is attempting to kill him to get that policy to give it to the cult. A little tidbit about the drive-by shooting. It was a man with a ski mask in a Jeep who shot at him and sped off. The Jeep was registered to Charles Vallow, the dead husband of Lori. So her husband is dead. The car is available to her. There's a man there, maybe the same man who killed Charles, who's now attempting to kill Brandon. What do you think happens a week later? A man in a ski mask does another drive-by attempt on Tammy. She says that he shoots, pulls the trigger, but no bullets come out, and then he speeds away. So both of them have had attempted drive-by shootings by a man in a ski mask. 10 days after the drive-by shooting attempt on Tammy, Chad's wife, what do you think happens to Tammy? She mysteriously dies in her sleep. Chad claims that she was coughing the night before and that he had visions about that she was going to die, and she passed away peacefully in her sleep. Her body is now being exhumed and they're investigating a little bit more about that, but we don't have the results yet. 2 weeks after Tammy dies in her sleep mysteriously, what do you think happens? Lori and Chad get married in Hawaii. Naturally, that's what you do. 2 weeks after your wife dies and a month after your kids have been missing, you go to Hawaii and you get married. Normal. Lori and Chad are now without their spouses. They're both dead and they're living together happily married in Idaho. So now it's November 26th. Nobody has seen the children for 2 months. The police show up at Lori and Chad's house in Idaho to make a welfare check on the children. The grandparents are the ones who called in the welfare check. Lori lies to the police and says that they're with the people who called to do the welfare check. So she's been caught in plenty of lies about where her kids are. She tells a different story to everybody. She told one person that she doesn't have kids, another person that her daughter is dead. She's lying. When the police returned the next day to see where Tylee and JJ were, they found the house completely vacated. They had fled. Lori and Chad were in Hawaii, but the cops didn't know at this time. And the neighbors and witnesses, when they were questioned by the police, they said that they hadn't seen Tylee or JJ in a while. A few weeks later, it is now December 12th, and who do you think dies now? Lori's brother. Maybe he did too much dirty work and he knew too much and he had to go. Lori's brother mysteriously found unresponsive, and we don't know what the cause of death is. Now, of course, that is also under investigation. A month after her brother dies, Lori is then arrested in Hawaii and extradited, brought back to Idaho with 2 felony charges of desertion and abandonment of dependent minors. Now that we have the timeline, we can explore some of the crazy details and theories about what could have happened and where the kids are. The storage unit. Let's talk about the storage unit. I've got some footage that I'll also insert, which talks about what was at the storage unit and when they did it and who was there. And let me just play the clip.
Surveillance footage from the company shows Lori or a man associated with her visited her unit 9 times in October and 1 time in November. She came alone once on October 1st, the day she signed the contract and agreed to pay $53 a month. She was driving a blue Nissan Rogue. Lori returned October 2nd and 3rd with a man who appears to be her brother, Alex Cox. His truck is spotted on camera several times during the month. During one visit, the 2 of them enter the building. The man looks back and forth as Lori opens the unit door. He then removes a heavy tote with something hanging over the end. It's placed in the car. They go back inside the building and he carries out a tire while she closes the door. Between October 6th and 26th, a man, presumably Cox, visits the storage unit alone 5 times. Cameras show him dropping off a variety of items, including gun cases. And then on October 28th, 2 men are seen moving bikes into the unit. During October, the visitors are seen with large, heavy totes. Sometimes they put things in the unit, then remove them within days. The last time anyone visits the facility in October is on the 28th. Nobody comes back for nearly a month. But on November 24th, Lori and a man are again seen on camera. They stay for 4 minutes and leave. 2 days later, Rexburg police go to her townhouse for a welfare check on JJ. The next day, November 27th, officers serve a search warrant at the home and then go to the storage unit with a search warrant. Inside, they find bikes, a scooter, winter clothing, a photo album with pictures of the children, sports equipment, a backpack with JJ's initials, a jersey with Colby's name, Lori's oldest son, along with ice skates and blankets. One showing photos of JJ, the other with pictures of Tylee. Detectives photographed everything, and in January, when Lori's credit card was declined several times, Self Storage Plus notified the police.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. The thing that just irks me about Lori is her demeanor.
When she comes into the courtroom, she's smiling, she looks at one attorney, she's chatting, she looks at the other attorney. And you'll notice that she's smiling. She's just getting settled in, and she looks very relaxed. If you look at her shoulders, she's just relaxed, leaning over, smiling to her attorney. She just still has just this pep in her step.
It's this smug, self-satisfied, I don't even know how to explain it. The way she looked in court, the way she's laughing, talking to the cops when her estranged husband just got shot and killed. It doesn't make any sense. Chad worked as a gravedigger in college. circumstantial, whatever, just something that I found interesting, worthy of mention. Don't you agree? Melani, that's Lori's niece who joined the cult and divorced her husband and tried to kill him. Her new husband that she married, they were trying to bring him into the cult. They believed that souls could be possessed or demonically possessed by worms or demons or Satan or something like that, and that they would turn into zombies, and the only way to like save them from this possession was to kill them. Melani also mentioned to her husband, who wrote this statement, that Chad and Lori were starting to say that the children were zombies. And you know what they do with zombies. He also said that Lori's niece Melani knows where the kids are. And he also said that she said that children are full of light and then sometimes they just go dark. Which sounds to me like a justification for something. Let's talk a little bit about Lori's brother, Alex Cox. He is said to be her most loyal follower. He also, before he shot her fourth husband, Charles, he also served jail time for assaulting her third husband. Are you keeping up? Some people theorize that it's possible that Alex is the one who did all the killing for Lori. He killed her husband, he tried to shoot at Brandon, he tried to shoot at Tammy, and then somehow they found another way to kill Tammy, and then possibly he could have also done something to the children, at which case when the police came over, Lori may have felt like he knew too much, he did too much, he might rat on her, and then he mysteriously died. There are two main theories about where the kids could be. The first theory is that they're alive and well. Hopefully, please God, I hope they're alive and well, and that they're possibly at these white camps, which I mentioned earlier, like preparing for the second coming of Christ, like some kind of doomsday bunker situation. Or I hate to say it, but the most likely situation could be that the kids are no longer with us. If she did in fact kill them, I pray they find the bodies, because without the bodies, I don't think they're going to be able to charge her with murder. Right now, her charges are really like just desertion and abandonment, but it's like, where are they? Where are the kids? The situation keeps evolving. Every day there's new stuff, If I get enough new information and I find people are interested in this video, I might do a part 2. Let me know. Was this a horrible video? Did you hate this? Do you like this? Let me know. I really hope that we figure out what the hell happened to those poor kids. I mean, my God.